Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Bible Study Minute. Today we're taking a look at Joshua chapters 3 and 4. And at this point in the narrative, Israel is ready to enter into the Promised Land. But to do this, they camp at the bank of the Jordan River. And before they cross, the Lord wants to do something mighty to show who He is. Because we have to remember, this is a generation that, for the most part, does not remember crossing the Red Sea. There are some alive that did, like Joshua, Caleb, and some of the older people in this generation. But for the most part, the people that are getting ready to cross into the Promised Land did not experience crossing the Red Sea. So what God wants to do is, one, set up Joshua as the leader of Israel and make it clear that he is the leader and he's leading them. And then two, that he is indeed God, he is mighty, and the same God that is going to do this great deed is going to be the same God that's going to go before them to give them the Promised Land. So how does he do that? By parting the waters of the Jordan River, much like he did the Red Sea. So he tells Joshua to get the priests to carry the Ark of the Covenant and then to go towards the Jordan River. And as they do this, as soon as their feet touch the waters, the flow of water downstream, just stops. And so the priests go down to the middle of the river and they just stand there. And the flow of water is stopped and there's dry ground. And so on this dry ground, Israel is able to cross the Jordan River much like they were able to cross the Red Sea 40 years ago. And then as they're crossing, Joshua tells one person from each tribe to carry a large boulder from the river on their shoulder and to bring it across the river. And the reason for doing this is so they can set up a memorial for future generations to know what the Lord has done. So that whenever they see this mound of 12 stones and they ask, what does this mean? They can tell their children that the Lord parted the waters of the Jordan River and did this mighty deed for us as we entered into this promised land. So that's what happened. And then everyone in Israel crossed the Jordan River. And then as soon as everyone crossed, the priest came out and the waters began flowing again. So what can we take away from this passage? One, like Joshua 4:24 tells us, that he did this so that they would fear the Lord and reverence him. And that's the same kind of awe that we need to have with this God. We need to know that this is the God that goes before us, gives us everything that we need. And just like he went before Israel, he goes before us today and does great and mighty deeds. He doesn't do great things like he did as far as parting waters and things like that, but he's given us a much greater deed in the work of salvation. And then finally, being able to set up monuments in terms of having reminders of what the Lord has done in our lives. We need to have those reminders so that we can constantly remember what the Lord has done. So we can do this in the form of like something simple like a prayer journal, where we're writing down our prayers to God and keeping track of all the different answers. But we need to have a constant reminder before us of the things that the Lord has done. Otherwise, we will quickly forget those things that the Lord has done. And I know that there are lots of things in my own life that God has done where if I don't write them down or remember them in some kind of way, then they're quickly lost. So this is the whole reason behind the monument and why God had Israel do that, so they could be always reminded of his power whenever they come to the banks of the Jordan River. So that's what I want to remind you of today as you meditate on this passage. And that's all I got for now. And until next time, grace and peace.